Ever stared at a word problem and just felt your brain totally freeze up? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, today, we're going to unpack a super simple but really powerful trick for turning those confusing sentences into clean, solvable algebra. Let's jump right in. You know, for so many of us starting out in algebra, the biggest roadblock isn't even the math itself. It's the translation. It's that moment where you have to figure out, how on earth do I turn a sentence about meters or dollars into an expression with X or D? I mean, seriously, we've all had that feeling. You read the problem once, twice, maybe 5 times, and it just feels like a riddle. You know the answer's in there somewhere, but figuring out how to actually unlock it, that feels impossible. But here's the big idea for today. What if the key to cracking these problems wasn't learning some brand new, complicated theory? What if it's all about tapping into a kind of math you already know like the back of your hand? And that brings us to the core of this whole technique. Let's just call it the arithmetic secret. It's a way to build a bridge between the math you're super comfortable with and the, kind of abstract world of algebra. The whole strategy, and this comes straight from our source material, is right here. It all comes down to one single idea. Before you even try to tackle the algebra problem, you solve a way simpler arithmetic version of it first. That's it. Now, this isn't just some vague idea. It's a real, concrete 3-step method. It's something you can use every single time, and once you see how it works, I think you'll find it's actually incredibly simple. So here's the whole game plan. First, you just swap out the variable, the scary letter, for a simple number. Turn it into a problem you could solve in your head. Second, you write out the expression for that easy version. And third, you just copy that exact same pattern back, but you replace your made-up number with your original variable. That is the entire trick. Okay, enough talk. Theory is great, but let's actually see how this works in the real world. We're going to take a couple of classic word problems and just run them through our little 3-step process. All right, here's our first one. Represent a distance that is 20 meters shorter than X meters. Now, that little X is where people get thrown off, but we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to follow the steps. Step 1. We're going to make this problem easier. Let's just pretend X is a nice round number, say 50. So now the problem is a distance 20 meters shorter than 50 meters. See? Instantly, that feels way more manageable. Our brain knows exactly what to do with that. Okay, on to step 2. Writing the expression for that simple version is, well, it's second nature, right? Of course, it's 50 minus 20. We don't even have to think about it. And now for the final step, we just translate. We take the pattern we already figured out, the subtraction, and we just swap our made-up number, 50, back out for the original variable, x. And there you have it. The logic is exactly the same, and our answer is x minus 20. Simple. Let's try another one, just to show this works even when things look a little more complicated, like with 2 variables. The problem. Represent the value of n hats, each worth d dollars. Again, we see those letters, but we're not going to let them psych us out. Okay, step 1. You know the drill. Let's invent some easy numbers. How about 5 hats at $10 each? Boom! All of a sudden, this is a problem you could solve in your head while you're shopping. And step 2 is a piece of cake. How do you find the total value? You just multiply the number of things by how much they cost, right? So that's just 5 times 10. So for the final step, step 3, we follow that exact same pattern. The 5 becomes n, the 10 becomes d, the operation is still multiplication, so the final answer is simply nd. And you can see how this pattern just works for all sorts of problems. We just did the first 2 on this chart. Let's just glance at the next one. A weight 40 pounds heavier than p pounds. Well, just imagine p is 100. Heavier means add, so 100 plus 40. Translate that back and you get p plus 40. It's the same reliable logic every single time. So really what this whole method does is build a mental bridge for you. It literally creates a path that takes you from the confusing, jumbled up language of a word problem right to the clean, clear language of an algebraic expression. And you want to know the best part? Our source material points this out, and it is so true. After you do this a few times, you won't even need to write down the first 2 steps. You'll just do it in your head. You'll see the variable, you'll mentally plug in a number, you'll see the pattern, and you'll just write down the final expression. It really does become second nature. So the big takeaway here is that you're now walking away with a super simple but really powerful tool. And this isn't just a trick for one kind of problem, it's a fundamental strategy for how to think algebraically. This whole process of making something abstract feel concrete and simple, that's a key to learning just about anything. So the real question isn't just what math problems you can solve now, but what other complex ideas in your life are just one simple analogy away from being totally understood. Thanks for tuning in.